Okay, I hope we're in focus. It's been so long since I've done this, I've kind of forgotten what I'm doing. Hey everyone, Kate here, and today I'm going to have a look at everything I made on my channel in 2023. Now, okay, this video would have been better to do back in January, but if you're a regular watcher, you will know that I took I was supposed to take a couple months off. I did take a couple months off making videos, but I actually injured my hand like first week in January, so it wasn't really the relaxing time off that I so desperately needed. There's some family health stuff going on too at the moment. It's not mine to talk about, so I don't want to go into too much detail. But between that and the fact that I'm probably moving in a couple months, I may have to disappear again this year. I'm not sure how consistent I'm going to be. I'll talk about maybe a bit at the end for those of you who want an update. But let's just jump into the reviews for now. Every once in a while, I try yearly, but it's more like every 2 years, I like going back and looking at my old recipes and talking a bit about how they perform long term. Now, I do test everything that I show on my channel for a little bit of time before the video appears live, but I think the real test is how it performed long term. And I like to just talk about how the formula stood up, if I actually use the product. I think there's a few on here that I haven't actually used. And if you missed any of these recipes or you're not sure what to make, hopefully this will be informative. I should warn you, I'm pretty tired today, so I will try to be coherent, but I make no guarantees. I have my laptop in front of me, so I'm going to be looking down a little bit. Maybe I'll just start with the most recent, and I'll work my way back in time as my memory gets fuzzier and fuzzier. I'll just go back until I hit the last. I think I did one of these videos about a year ago, so I'll go back to about that point. Okay, so first up we have the Vanilla Rose Snow Cream. This one I'm currently using, and it is fabulous. This one was a mashup of a 1920s recipe and an Edwardian recipe. I think I used I didn't write in my notes which was which, but I used the scent blend from one and the base from another. It was a pretty standard cold cream with glycerin. Now, I don't often put glycerin in my skin creams. I've tried a number of glycerin-based cold creams in the past, and they've just never made it to my channel because they have been unbearably sticky. This recipe, however, it only has a little teeny tiny bit of glycerin, and I actually really liked it. I think having less of a water amount plus the addition of the glycerin really helped the emulsification stay stable. Some of my cold creams do split over time because they don't have a emulsifier in them per se. It's just something that happens. You can just stir them back together. It's not that big a deal, but this one's been very shelf stable so far. I did put preservative in mine, so it's just living on my bathroom counter, and it has been saving my hands. I don't know what is going on with our water. Other people in the same area have mentioned it, like getting really dry skin this year, despite it being a mild winter. And I think it's something to do with whatever they're pumping into our water at the moment. But this glycerin cold cream has been saving me. It's really good. It's not unbearably rich. I can use it on my face. I've been using it on my cheeks a bit, but quite like it. My only criticism might be the vanilla rose scent. It's okay. I don't mind it. I think I would prefer, though, either just vanilla or just rose. I find the vanilla rose is a little, I don't want to say it's cloying. It's not really cloying per se, but it's just kind of like borderline. So it's okay, but I think if I was to make it again, I'd either just do rose or just do vanilla. Vanilla rose sounds really pretty, but I'm not a super fan of the scent. Okay, so next was, the 1 minute Edwardian beauty recipes. Holiday edition. I don't even remember what I made. What did I make? Okay, so I made a bath powder. Oh, the hand oil, a lip balm, and a couple perfumes. Okay. The bath powder I have not used because my bathtub is broken. The taps have been broken for ages. I did test it out in somebody else's bathtub when I made the recipe. It's fine. I haven't used it again, so I don't know. It's that kind of bath powder is mostly just for the fizz. It doesn't perform much of a function. It's just because it fizzes and smells pretty. The lanolin hand oil, though, I have used. This was a recipe inspired by something from 1915. I don't think I followed like a pharmaceutical exact recipe. It was more of inspired by an idea presented in an old book. I think it was almond oil and lanolin. I know lanolin for sure. I think the oil I used was almond oil, but you can use any liquid oil in here. I did not expect to like this recipe. I will admit, I thought this was going to be one of those things that I make for a video and then never, ever, ever use. But I really liked it. I've been using it just like after I wash my hands as a surprisingly lightweight cold cream. Not cold cream. Oh, I'm so used to using cold cream. I don't know what people call normal moisturizers anymore. Hand cream. A gentle, regular hand cream. Despite it being basically oil with lanolin in it, it absorbs relatively quickly. I don't put like a huge amount. I think when people have problems with some of these historical cold creams absorbing in the skin, usually you're using too much. If it doesn't absorb quickly, you've put too much on. So I didn't expect to like it. Surprisingly convenient. I'm quite impressed with that stuff. And then we had a lip balm. It's okay. I haven't used it too much. I put it in a little tin because it looks cute on video. It probably would have been firm enough to put in a tube, and I think that would have been more useful. I don't really use lip balms in tins very often. And then we had 2 perfumes. We had a handkerchief perfume and the essence of peppermint. Neither of which I've used yet. I think I've used the essence of peppermint a few times as like a linen spray. I don't even remember what the handkerchief one smells like. That was only like 3 months ago, but I've been using up other perfumes that I will get to in a little bit and haven't had a chance to work on those ones. I think I'll probably end up using the handkerchief perfume more as a linen or a room spray. I don't remember it being too bad, but I don't remember being in love with it either, so. Okay, and then we had the Great Rag Curl Experiment. It's a very grand name for a not very grand video. But I basically tried a whole bunch of different rag curl techniques. Still not a fan. I'm kid curlers all the way. But I have used the felt rag curlers. When I've run out of other historical curlers, like I'm doing my hair, and I'm too lazy to go into the other room and get my spares, that one's sitting in my curler jar, so I have used it a few times. I like the rag ones rather than the kid curlers if I'm putting them in a spot where when I'm sleeping I'm going to be lying on it. They're very comfortable. They're not that much more comfortable than the kid curlers, but they're like marginally. There's no wire in them, so they're softer. I would consider making more of those in the future. I probably won't. I love my kid curlers too much, but I would consider it. Okay, and then we had my Edwardian face powder recipe. I did look up the French pronunciation before I filmed this, and apparently I still said it wrong, so I was trying so hard. I did take French in high school, but it was not my best subject. So this was a 1914 rice powder that had no rice in it. I have been trying to make a historical rice powder for years, and they're usually really unpleasant, really gritty and patchy. It's because they didn't usually actually use rice. They used potato starch and they just called it rice flour. So, the things you learn. But this was pretty a standard starch powder recipe, good for putting on top of foundation. It's a pretty light coverage, so if you either just want tiny light coverage or if you want something to put on top of other makeup, it's an excellent choice for that. I can't remember I must have tried some recipes in my day spa video. Let me just open that and we'll have a look. What did I do? Man, I just film it and forget it. I have no memory of a lot of these. Last year was rough. I had a rough health year last year, so it's my excuse. Oh, I hate having to watch ads on my own video. I probably should have done this a different way. Okay. It's fine. We'll just wait. Oh, I didn't put chapter titles. Bad me. Okay, I did an oil shampoo, a Edwardian steam treatment, a mud pack. Is that all I tried? I think that might have been all I tried in here. What was the oil shampoo? Was that just like oil? I think that was just putting oil in my scalp and having it warm. Yeah, that's just plain oil. That's not really a recipe. It's good. I like oil treatments. I have a very sensitive scalp and I find the oil treatments really help with that. So yeah, oil, hair, good. It's my review. Oh, the face steam and massage. I've actually done this since then. This isn't really a recipe either, but we're going to talk about it. So this is where you put on cold cream or some sort of oil or something before your face steam, and then it kind of, I find it really helps clear the skin as everything heats up, and it's sort of kind of the same idea as oil cleansing your skin. same general principle. And there was a massage, and I have actually done that since then because it made such a difference. I really, really liked that. My skin felt fabulous after that. And the mud pack, what was in that? Was that like oat flour and something? Oat flour and an egg, maybe? No, was there an egg? I feel like there was an egg. There's witch hazel, oat flour, witch hazel, and almond flour? I'm holding an almond. Oh, there's an egg. Not my favorite mud pack. I actually prefer like a real mud pack with clay. I think I was having really sensitive skin at this point, so I didn't want to use clay on my skin. So I went with the egg for cleansing, but then instead of the instead of the mud, I went with oats. Oats being much, much gentler, obviously, than clay. Clay can be quite harsh and drying. I remember it being good at the time, but I haven't done it again since, so yeah, it was okay. And then we did styling hats in care of Victorian and Edwardian cats. I did not try any recipes in that one. Yeah, there's kind of a gap here where I didn't really do many I didn't do many recipe videos. Summer beauty advice. Did I try any recipes in that? Oh, I did. I did a bath salt, a face treatment, and a hair oil. So the hair oil was very similar to the other hair oil treatment I did. You put oil in your hair. You can add a heated towel if you want. Very simple. I think I just used either plain almond oil or sometimes I use olive oil, but I prefer the almond oil for my particular hair. So the bath salt was pine and lavender. I used it. It was pretty good. It wasn't overpoweringly scented. You did have to use a fair bit to get kind of the pine scent in the bath, but I think that was partly my pine oil. My pine oil was not as potent as they sometimes are, so I didn't want to increase it in case somebody else was using a stronger pine oil, but it was okay. It was sort of the lavender sweetens the pine a bit. It just mellows the scent a bit and gives it a nicer blend when you add the lavender with the pine. And then I did some sort of face treatment. Was that a recipe? What was that? I'm mixing witch hazel and rose water. That sounds nice. And then I'm just swabbing it on my face. Oh, this is the one where you used cold water. You soaked the pad in cold water and then you applied the lotion on top. That was really nice. That was really nice in the summer. It was so cooling and refreshing. I don't know if it had magical skin properties. Sometimes with beauty stuff, you just want it to feel nice. You don't really care how effective it is. It's more the experience. So that was definitely an experience one rather than perhaps an actually beneficial one, but it was nice. I did do that more during the summer. Okay, and then we did a classic Victorian cold cream. Your basic standard cold cream. I don't really remember much one way or the other. It was so much like any historical cold cream. Good, but totally forgettable. So switching gears from a beauty recipe, we have a crafty make thing. This is my faux ostrich feather tutorial. I got a lot of requests for this one actually, because I often wear those big floofy Edwardian style hats and they have these yarn feathers. So it's basically a technique that you start with a macrame feather and then you brush out or comb out the yarn to kind of floof it up. And you get a really, really floofy feather. You can buy ethical ostrich feathers, but this is a probably cheaper option and also easier if you want to match, say, the feather color to a particular outfit. It's a technique I've used a number of times. Highly recommend it. It takes a bit of time, but you really get such a fun, floofy feather from it. Really great for vintage style hats. Or just for the floof. Just for the floof. Oh, the swan down powder. Okay, so I bought like the actual historical swan down powder, which is a recipe that I had made years and years ago. And the original turned out to be a pressed powder rather than the loose powder recipe that I had made in my recreation. So I basically just took that powder and pressed it. I might have changed the formula a little bit from the original, and I haven't used it at all. I did test it, used it for the video, and then never used it again. I thought I was going to absolutely love this powder. I usually prefer a pressed powder in other products, like a pressed blush or a pressed eyeshadow. But apparently, that does not extend to face powder. I just much prefer using a loose powder than a pressed powder when I'm applying my makeup. So it's still sitting on my shelf. I've barely touched it. Oh, and then we have 3 historical perfume recipes for spring. I think originally I was going to do one for each season, but last year was hard. My health was not great last year and I never got to it. So we did spring and nothing else. But they were really good. These I have actually gotten a lot of use out of. So there was the Irish Flowers perfume, the Spring Flowers perfume, and the Sweet Briar perfume. I think the Irish Flowers was probably a least favorite. Like, I really liked it, but the other two I loved. I adore those perfumes. I wear them all the time, especially the Spring Flowers. Okay, so at the risk of TMI, well, I try to opt now in my sewing for natural fibers. I do have a lot of older tops or fabric and stash that I just want to use up that is perhaps something like a polyester. And polyester gets a bit whiffy, especially in the summer. I found, in combination with deodorant, of course, but spraying this perfume on the fabric in the underarm area of the shirt totally eliminated this problem, like 110%. I not only smelled nice from the perfume, but it never got that sort of worn polyester smell. I did warn you about TMI. So especially the Spring Flower perfume I have been using all the time. When I run out, I will definitely be making more. I think Sweet Briar is probably my favorite of the scent blends. But as I said, that Spring Flowers perfume has magical properties. I wear that a lot when I'm socializing. I don't want to be like one of those girls in the, the 1930s ads where they're miserable and alone and they don't know why, and it's because they have BO. I don't want to be one of those girls. Okay, let's see. Then I did 2 videos that almost nobody watched, including my 1910s duster and cap. Okay, I gotta admit, I knew when I made that one that people probably wouldn't be super keen on that one, but I had fun. So the 1910s duster and cap was sort of a spring cleaning themed video where I made a little dust cap and a little duster, basically. It's like a stick with a little dusty thingy on the end. I haven't worn the dust cap very much. I haven't done any deep cleaning where it's been necessary. I usually just like wash my hair if I'm doing something that's going to get it all icky. But the little duster is surprisingly practical. I thought it was just going to be, one of these things I make for a video and then never use again. But I use that thing all the time. It is really good for doing pictures. That's kind of what it's designed for doing like the top of picture frames and stuff. And hard to reach corners or little nooks and crevices. It was a great way to use up yarn scraps. It's easily washable. You just untie it from the handle and just wash the little floofy bit. Fabulous. I really like that duster. If you're looking for something to do with old yarn scraps, highly recommend. Next video, going backwards, where I say next, but like next back in time, we have a historical curler DIY. Now, I don't know if I count this in last year's videos. This was a revisit to some historical curlers I had made in the past. My 1930s soft curlers, pin waves, which is, again, more of a technique than a curler make per se, and then my beloved kid curlers. I still like all of those techniques. I used to be really into the 1930s curlers, but I've really come around to kid curlers. I think in my mind, I thought, oh, these are going to be uncomfortable to sleep in. And they are if you're doing Mary Pickford curls, because you have so many curlers in your hair in that situation. But if I'm just doing something like this today, we're a little frizzy. Again, that's the water's doing things to my hair. But if I'm just doing a curl set like this, 5 curlers did my whole head. I got one like unicorn horn in the front, then 2 on the sides, so I can still, not like side ones, kind of here at the front. So there's room for the pillow, and then one not at the back, not at the side, sort of at the head corner, like right here. So when I'm sleeping, I'm never lying directly on it. And that's enough to do my rather thin hair and produces fabulous results. They don't slip out of your hair. They are almost foolproof. They always produce a beautiful ringlet. So highly recommend historical kid curlers. And we're already at the last one. That I didn't do much last year, so this didn't take quite as long as I thought it might. Editing me will be happy for that. The last recipe that I did before my last products review video, which if you're looking for inspiration of what might be fun to make, that's another good one to watch, because I'll go back and look at all, I think that's 2 years worth of reviews of recipes and tutorials that I had done. But the video I did right after that was a historical hand care and Victorian hand cream recipe. So this recipe was cocoa butter, almond oil, and beeswax. I don't remember that off the top of my head, I checked. It produced a very, very thick product It's not quite a salve, like it doesn't quite have the texture of a salve. I think it's called a cerate or something. Very, very thick, but very, very moisturizing. I've used it a little bit on my hands, but what I have discovered is that this makes the most fabulous lip treatment. I use it before bed. It's not really like a lip gloss, lip balm for going outside. It's quite thick. It's more like a restorative treatment that you would do before bed, and it is fabulous. I might have to go back and maybe like edit just that recipe out of this video and just post it separately with that information in it. Because if you were looking for a good lip balm, it is fabulous. Again, not so much like a light lip glossy kind of product, but really a deeply moisturizing restorative product. Plus with the cocoa butter, it tastes pretty nice. So that seems to be the end of the recipe. So if you don't care about the channel update, you can just leave. Bye. Those of you who do, I won't talk too long. But as I mentioned before, there's some health stuff going on with other members of the family. There's always my own health drama going on. I don't talk about it a lot on this channel, but I am chronically ill and it's a constant struggle. It's fine. I'm dealing with it. We're all good. But because of that, I am going to be moving in the... I don't know when yet. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to have to take time off when I do move. I'm moving into what was my grandmother's old apartment. The apartment that I'm moving into needs a lot of fixing up, which is part of like why I'm moving in. I'm going to help renovate and restore it a little bit. So because I'm going to be spending a lot of extra energy both for the move and for the renovations and fixing up the apartment, I'm not going to have the energy for all the filming and the editing and all the stuff that goes into video making. So there will be another break. I'll announce it before it happens. However, I'm thinking about filming some of the process for YouTube. So when I come back, when I actually have time to edit, I'm hoping to have some good video footage. So let me know if you would like some historically inspired home decor content from me. This time I will actually post content too. It's not like my bedroom makeover video that I was going to film like 3 years ago, but I just never finished making over the bedroom. I think if I do decor content this time, it would more be about the ongoing process rather than the very HGTV before and after in a very clear definition, because in my mind, a home is something that develops gradually. So it's not going to be overnight. It's not going to be an overnight process. It's not going to be an overnight transformation, but I thought it might be fun to sort of show you how I take this older, it's like a 1960s apartment. It's not my beautiful old setting anymore, but I'm going to try to make it historical and vintage and fun and energy efficient. No, not as in like environmentally energy efficient, but like my energy efficient. Because with my chronic illnesses, I need to work smarter, not harder. So I'm going to design a bunch of stuff in this apartment so that I can really get the most out of what I have, energy-wise. Feel free to stick around for that later in this year if that sounds interesting. I don't know how much time I'm going to have to take off. I don't know anything at this point other than it'll be happening sometime. But until then, I'm hoping to get back to regular videos. I might start by making like a pomade or something to deal with this hair situation. We'll see. And maybe a new lipstick too. I would really like a new lipstick. But anyway, until then, what do I say in my outro? Oh man, it's been ages since I've done this. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye! Nailed it. This video was made possible through the generous support of my Patreons. Thank you.